And welcome back to the Barry Foster Show from the beautiful Ridge Florida studios here in the city of Charm, Avon Park. We are delighted to have on the phone Raj Doraisamy, the founder of Defend Florida. Raj, good to have you with us, my friend.
Hey, Barry, great to be with you as well, and so great to speak to your listeners today.
You know, there's a lot of people who may not know what Defend Florida is. So can we kind of take a step back? You being the founder, how did you decide to do this, and what exactly does Defend Florida exactly do?
Yeah, thanks, Barry. So Defend Florida started right at the beginning of 2021, and things are really in a bad way in Washington D.C. We just had the January 6th stuff and all of that manipulation of the information, and so we said we have to keep all that corruption, all that special interest out of the state of Florida. So we have to defend Florida. And that's how that term came up. It's a movement, and it's evolved into a movement focused on election transparency, helping make sure that our election officials have the best available resources available to them, so that elections can regain the lost confidence that people have lost because of the way elections have been mismanaged. There's been so much concern about 2020, and the government has done such an incompetent job about managing those concerns. And so what we have tried to do is bring volunteers who have expertise in process management, legislation, big data, cybersecurity, workflow, paper flow, and bring those people together and help create reform. And so what that's looked like specifically, for example, just a few years ago, Senate Bill 524 was passed into law. The volunteers of Defend Florida played a big part in that. They canvassed half the state. They got the source information, some of which was used to help get that bill passed into law. That was one of the most transparent pieces of election reform that's been passed in recent Florida history. But the battle continues. There is so much still that needs to be done in the space of elections. So, for example, this year, there's been a move to try to, even though the Trump cabinet, the top person for security, Tulsi Gabbard, has stated on the record that election machines can be manipulated, even though that's the case, there were some legislators in the state of Florida that tried to double the number of machines used in the state of Florida. There are people that tried to eliminate the use of paper ballots in certain instances when a discrepancy is found. And so I can go on and on and on about the need for continued reform, including the fact that right now non-U.S. citizens can and do register to vote. That needs to stop. And so we've been working on those kinds of things. So we've had some successes, some losses, but at the end of the game, Barry, Defend Florida is all about taking the regular people who probably don't care about politics, who probably are not, they don't have any political experience, but they've got professional skills, whether it be sales and persuasion or researching and reading or writing. We've taken those people and we've put them in a process where their skills have been used to make a big difference in bringing common sense and transparency in Florida elections, Barry.
Well, after the 2020, I'll use the word debacle, I'll use that word. Did you find that going in and looking into election integrity was something that there was a fertile ground, because many people felt like there was something wrong in many, not only Florida, but many of the different states around the union?
Yeah, it's a great question. After 2020, the interest in the election process skyrocketed. So people like myself who didn't know anything about the election process, we didn't know how it was managed. We didn't know the officials that are trusted with that responsibility. We had no idea whatsoever. And that lack of interest, that apathy has been going on for decades and decades and decades. And as a result of that, when you have the citizens, us, not paying attention to a part of our government process, no matter what it is, whenever that happens, it's like a spoiled child where the parents are not paying attention and bad habits come into place. Those bad habits have resulted in a process now where people can register to vote even though they're not U.S. citizens. those bad habits have resulted now in a process that voter rolls can be manipulated, have been manipulated. And so, yes, there was definitely a surge in interest. It was fertile ground. The downside, Barry, was the people who got interested, like myself and others, we didn't know hardly anything about how the process worked. And to make it worse, the election officials, instead of helping us get informed, they took our interest. When we asked questions about the process, they became defensive. So instead of working with us, some of the government bureaucracy tried to shut citizens down. There was a bill last year, believe it or not, here in the United States of America, there was a bill that was in the bill here in Florida, that if you intimidated, or no, let me rephrase that. If an election official felt intimidated because of the questions you're asking or for any reason, they could press charges against you. They could criminalize you. So what happened is there was a lot of interest in the election process. The flip side is there were a lot of us who were interested that didn't know. And so we came in sometimes hot and heavy, making bad assumptions, sometimes making assertions on incorrect information. And so it was a little chaotic. However, fast forward now to 2025, those same folks that have stuck with it have become so much more informed. We've been able to create good working relationships with supervisors of elections, with legislators. We've gotten legislation sponsored, in some cases passed, as I mentioned earlier, to help reform the election process. We have been able to work with supervisors of elections so that two things happen. One, we have more insight in the process. Two, we've been able to share some of our suggestions that we brought best practices in from other industries into the election space. What do I mean by that? Well, we've been able to take best practices from other government verticals like Treasury, Defense, healthcare. Some of those industries, government agencies, they have best practices that are far more competent than some of the practices in the election space. So we've been able to bring that. And so there's been a little bit more information flow, a little bit more collaboration. But where we sit right now, Barry, is we continue to have senior legislators who are completely either uninformed, some senior legislators, either completely uninformed and ignorant, or maliciously trying to redirect the public. For example, there are senior legislators that will tell you, they'll look you straight in the eye and say to you that only a U.S. citizen can get a driver's license. And why that's important is driver's licenses are used to register to vote. So when we say, hey, people are registering to vote who are not citizens, these senior legislators will actually look us straight in the eye and say, no, only a U.S. citizen can get a driver's license. It's such ignorance or incompetence or a little bit of both. One other example. There are legislators that will look at us straight in the eye and say, only a U.S. citizen is given a social security number. Why that's important is social security numbers are also a way that people can register to vote. So the reality is non-U.S. citizens can get a driver's license, non-U.S. citizens can get a social security number. And so relying on the possession of a social security number or a driver's license as proof of citizenship is so, I don't even know what the word to say. It's so wrong. It's so incorrect. So we continue to fight those battles, and we continue to need to recruit more people into the fight, into the work. A democracy like ours, a republic like ours, was designed from the get-go only to survive with the participation of everyday men and women. That is specifically why it says government of the people, by the people, for the people. A lot of us today have been misguided. A lot of us today think that if we just vote, we've done our duty. And that is like a parent who thinks once a child is conceived, they've done their duty. No. No, when the child gets born, your duty only begins. You got to hold people accountable. You got to work with them. Otherwise, that child becomes spoiled. And in the same way, otherwise, the government gets out of control. So that's actually why we've come up with the Reclaim campaign strategy, Barry.
Yeah, and I just really quickly want to ask you that in 2021, you suggested that there was any kind of anything wrong with the election process. You were shut down quickly. That has come 180 degrees around, where now people are looking into this. Do you find that with this change in attitude, the change in leadership, whether we're talking about Donald Trump or we're talking about Ron DeSantis, that people are more interested or maybe more willing to come forward now that they're not going to get that kind of severe pushback that they had 3-4 years ago?
Well, it depends. It depends, Barry, because if when we talk about 2020, so much of the attention is put on the on machinery from two specific voting machine vendors. So that's where most of the attention is put, and that's a misdirect. The reason why I say it's a misdirect is the voting system in America is at the heart of the voting system in America. At the heart of the voting system in America is a thing that very few people are actually talking about. At the heart of the voting system in America is the voter rolls. This is something I had no idea. So while so much attention is given to, the machinery that people use when they place a ballot at the precinct, when you go to vote, it's a misdirect because the actual accuracy of the American voting process is not a function of those machines alone. It's actually a function of the voter rolls. The other thing that is at the heart of the reliability of the American voting system has become the abuse and manipulation of the vote by mail process. So, is there a lot of interest? Yes. Is the attention being placed in the two functions that actually determine voting reliability? It is not. And so it's disappointing because unless the attention is placed on the two parts of the election process that have a large determination on the accuracy of how the ballots are managed, we're still going to be in the same vulnerable position that we were in 2020 and prior to that. And again, that is the voter rolls, and secondly, the abuse and manipulation of vote by mail.
We're talking with Raj Doraisamy, the founder of Defend Florida. And Raj, you've unrolled a new reclaim campaign for Defend Florida, which there's three provisions there: reclaim, retake, and restore. How does that work?
So because, Barry, we have had continued difficulty after difficulty in getting the reform that's needed, we started talking to other people in America. We started talking to people who are not really working on elections. They're working on other things. And so we started talking to the people that are working on health. So we all are familiar with the manipulation and abuse and lack of transparency behind the way the COVID debacle was mismanaged. We're all familiar with that. Well, it turns out there's a whole group of people that have been working hard to reverse that. They're not working on elections, but what they are working on is making sure that Americans have what they call health freedom. So they are given so they make working hard to make sure that Americans have good information with which to make informed choices of their own free will when it comes to their health. Huge group of people. Many of those same people are also working on parental rights. Wow. Well, so we're like, well, what's parental rights about? And they said to us, well, in America, for the last couple of years, there's been a move to marginalize the rights of parents. And I said, well, give me an example. And they said, well, right now in Florida, minors can be given certain medical procedures without parental consent. And I said, you got to be kidding me. No, that's not true. And they said, yes, it is. And so these folks are working on stopping that. They're working on requiring parental consent for these procedures when issued to minors. They also went on to say that these same parents, that what they're trying to do is make sure that if the school brings up something very politicized or sexualized, it's got some kind of sexual agenda on it, they're trying to make sure that the parents must be informed before the school puts that in front of their minor children. And both those efforts have been blocked. The people trying to get parental consent, they've been blocked by our Florida legislation. The people that are trying to make sure that the parents are informed of this unwanted material, they've been blocked. So it's not just election integrity that is not being honored in the way it should be, but these other folks as well. So in Reclaim campaign, we wanted to get all of these people together in one camp. I want to mention two other camps as well. I call them camps. You can call them groups, what have you. There's a huge number of people that are working on expanding on making sure that the Second Amendment is honored and respected in the way it was designed to. There's another group of people that are working on the education system and make sure that that children here in Florida are given an education that mirrors the morals, the principles of their families, and also prepares the children for the opportunities coming up in the future. So we want to bring all these people together, and we're calling it a Reclaim campaign because we want to reclaim our health, reclaim our Second Amendment, reclaim our elections, reclaim our education, reclaim our faith, and we want to even reclaim campaign reform, campaign financing reform. So we want these people to come together. We want them to reclaim, retake, and restore. And we're doing that with a series of events that are taking place right now and will culminate in a statewide conference on July 26th in Pinellas County at 10 a.m. July 26th, a Saturday, in Pinellas County at 10 a.m.
And so these meetings, you're setting up some town hall meetings. Is that kind of the plan to get all these people into the same tent together to discuss the amount of government overreach they're having to endure at this point?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So these town hall meetings, which, by the way, you can find out about the town hall meetings that are taking place. All you got to do is go to reclaimcampaign.com, click on the town hall link at the top, and you'll see where the town hall meetings are taking place right now. We've got about 7 of them scheduled. 2 have already taken place. By the way, if you want to host a town hall meeting where we come and speak to your group, or you want to attend a town hall meeting, you get all that information at reclaimcampaign.com, pick the town hall meeting. But why would you want to come to a town hall meeting? Why would you want to host a town hall meeting? Well, at a town hall meeting, we bring the information to your group, and the information we bring includes everything we've talked about on this show so far, but it goes even further. At these town hall meetings, we're talking about how each group in the state of Florida can do a much more capable job of raising money for your issues in your county. So at the moment, the opposition, the people that are fighting everything I've been talking to you about, they have deep pockets. They've got a lot of big special interest groups funding them. They have a ton of money to run ads, postcards, radio pieces, internet ads, print material. They got a ton of money to do that. And because they have such amount of money, they're often able to get what they want done. And the people who live in those counties, what they want gets ignored. So people who help participate in the Reclaim campaign, we will show you how to raise more money, start earlier, be more effective at raising money. But that's not all. We realize that our problem that we have in our country is not a leadership, is not a money problem. It's not even an election problem. The problem we have in our nation is a leadership vacuum. We just don't have good leaders. That's why President Trump is making such a big difference. The leadership is such at a low bar. You put someone like President Trump in, who's a leader, you see the cabinet members that he puts in that are leaders, and you can see what kind of good things can happen. Well, guess what? We have to do the same thing at the local level. So people who participate in the Reclaim campaign, guess what? We will show them how to find better leaders that are more skilled, that are more capable for the issues in that county. Well, how will you do that, Raj? We have a complete matrix we have of how you match the needs of your county with appropriate leadership. We show you how to choose candidates that just don't have their hearts in the right place, but they also have the persuasion skills, the communication skills to persuade people to vote for them. What good is it to get an awesome candidate to run for office, to run for a position in your county, if that person who is a good person doesn't have the skills to persuade people to vote for them? It doesn't do any good. So we show you how to get the candidates. We work with massively informed training partners who have expertise in candidate matching, candidate selection, candidate victories. We show you how to raise money to make sure those candidates win. And the last thing, Barry, that I'll mention here is we show the people that are participating how they can force multiply with the other camps that we're bringing in. So if you're listening to this and you're an election integrity person, we show you how we can bring in the people from the health freedom. If you're a person listening to this and you're a Second Amendment person, we show you how to bring the people that are got parental rights as their mission into the fold. If you bring those different camps together in your county, literally you become unstoppable. There's more of us than there are of them. The only reason they seem to be winning in certain areas is we're fractioned and factioned. We're going to reverse that. We're going to give some strategies and powerful strategies. And I'd just love your listeners to learn more about what I just mentioned. I've only mentioned a little bit, but learn more about what I just mentioned at reclaimcampaign.com.
Now, when you're talking about raising up principled leadership, are we talking about on the city level, the county level, the school board, the state level, the federal level? What levels are we talking about here?
It's so good what you asked. It's such a key question, such a great, brilliant question. We're talking about doing it at the local level. And why would we do that? Well, if we look at the federal judges that are fighting Trump, if we look at the federal legislators that are fighting Trump, if we look at the federal prosecutors, if we look at the people that were running the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the DOJ, all of those people started locally. They all started locally. They got people to fund them. People like George Soros funded these guys. And over time, they went up the ranks and now they control these things at the national level. If we want to reverse that, if we want to put a stop to all of that corruption, we too must start at the local level, put people in place at the local level, then get those same people run for a larger office, get the same people run for a larger office. We start at the local level. So we're looking for people to find, we're going to train the groups that work with us on how to find those people to run for your mayors, your city council, your school board members, your health board members, your state officials, your county commissioners. That is where we must start. General Flynn has a phenomenal saying, and it's 100% true. He said, local action equals national impact. Local action equals national impact. Even Jesus said the same thing. Jesus said when he was here, if you want to make impact, you've got to start locally. So he said, start here in Judea, in Jerusalem, then, which was local, then go to Judea, which is more like a county, then go to the other part, Samaria, which is a region, then go to the uttermost parts of the earth. You have to do it the way Jesus said it in the same sequence. And if we do it that way, if we do it that way, we will succeed, Barry.
Now, Raj, as the old commercial used to say, timing is everything, and it seems like what we're seeing on the national level with President Trump kind of trying to cut back the size of government, and even here in the state of Florida, we're seeing some efforts to try to cut back the size of government. It's all going to kind of end up at the local level anyway, isn't it?
It really is, and Barry, you're so wise for saying that, because guess what? If we don't raise our people and put them in charge, our people in charge at the local level, then when President Trump pushes all this down to the local level, Guess who's going to be controlling the show at the local level? Guess who's going to be controlling all of that money that got cut out of the federal level and doged out, and it's now redirected to state and local? Guess who's going to be controlling that? I'll tell you, it's going to be the same yahoos that are fighting you right now. It's the same yahoos that are trying to take your county authority, the same guys that are against home rule, the same guys that are trying to strip the authority of your county from your county level, push it to state. Those guys are going to be controlling all that money, and things are going to be worse then than they are now. So now's the time. You're so right for saying, talk about the timing. Now's the time to get into it. Now's the time to find the people. Now's the time to get them in office, because guess what? Those elections for those offices I just mentioned, they're starting in March of 2026. They're starting in August of 2026. So we literally have got to move now. Now, if we move now, we can do a good job. We can plan downrange. We can plan long term. We can plan the fundraisers, the micro fundraisers that raise a little bit of money here, 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 and they all aggregate together. We can put the word out to find people that are parts of your church, parts of your business chambers, parts of your local leadership, the people that should be in charge of our governance. We have time to find them, train them, vet them, and put them in office, Barry.
Uh, there's a percentage of people out there that are all tuned into exactly what you've got to say. But how do you persuade the non-voter, the person that says, as my sainted father used to say, you can't fight City Hall? How do you convince them that now is the time to get involved at this kind of a level?
Great question. You follow Jesus' example. Well, what I mean by that, right? Why do you keep bringing the Bible up, Raj? It's not a Christian broadcast; it's politics. Well, the fact is, Jesus has the answers for so much of this. So let's just say what he did. He said he sent his disciples into a city, right? He sent his disciples into a city, and he said, "All right, go into the city, knock on the door, and talk to the people. If they receive you, stay there and build a relationship with them and help them. If they reject you, dust the sand off your shoes and move on." So, what does that mean today? There are so many people right now that are a yes, but no one has invited them. There are people that are a no, and that's what your question points to. But before we get distracted by them, what about the people that are a yes, but no one's invited them? I mean, if you're listening to this broadcast, just take up your phone, look at the contacts in your phone, and you're bound to come up with some people on your phone, on your contacts, that you, the people listening to this, may not have invited to listen to Barry's show. So start with asking them to listen to Barry's show, and then start by inviting them to Barry's part of a tea party in the middle of the state of Florida. Start by inviting those folks to the tea party group that Barry goes to. So it's about inviting. Now, back to your question, Barry, if someone's a no, you can't fight City Hall. That's okay. Move on until you get a few more people that say yes, and then go back to them, because people want to see the possibility of victory. And when they come back and they see that your group has grown, because you, my friends who are watching this, have invited people. If you, my friends, if they begin to see that your numbers are growing and you're taking action, they will become a yes. Now, it's always helpful to give some specifics. So I'm just going to read a couple of specifics, and I'll tell you what I mean by specifics. A lot of the people out there do not know how bad things are. They think, oh, in the state of Florida, everything's super great. So if you go to Reclaim Campaign, right in the middle of the page, there's a link. It's right next to a video that I put there. I got a short video there, and the link says problem statement. It defines a problem. Click that link, and here's why. On that link, I wrote this, I think it's just 3 pages, and on that link, I've given you examples. So what I mean by examples, I gave you examples where we have so many people that are non-citizens voting. We were able to persuade our Florida legislator to write a bill to solve that problem. And that bill number is Florida Bill HB 831. I'm going to give you like 2 more examples. There's another bill that was written to give that parental consent. That one is called HB 1505. All the links are there. All the explanations are there. I'm going to give you one more. There was another bill that was going to put all the authority on whether or not you can run as a Republican anywhere in the state. It was going to put all that authority in the hands of one person, like a dictator. I know it's hard to believe. But you can read for yourself, and that is HB 1249. So the reason I mentioned that is take advantage of that website, look at those bills, and then when you're talking to the people, show them these specific examples of why things are still corrupt in our state of Florida in lots of places. And use that to ask the people to attend a meeting where you're at. You might not be in Barry's neck of the woods in Central Florida. Wherever you are watching this throughout the country, use that information to persuade people you're talking to that they need to take action by showing them specifics. And that's why I gave you specifics of where things are not the way they should be. They're not American. They're not democratic. And once people see, wow, I had no idea that they were trying to put the authority on whether or not you can run for office in the hands of one person. Wow, I had no idea that they're not wanting to give parents the right to give consent on medical. Once you give them this information, some of them will go from being a no to a yes. And that's how you started. That's how we did it, Barry. That's exactly the playbook we did. And we started Defend Florida with 3 people. And now we're one of the larger movements throughout the country. And so that's how you do it. Just do it the way Jesus said to do it, one by one.
So, Raj, is the first step to go to the Reclaim Campaign website? Is that where we go first?
Yeah, I think that'll be the best step. Go to reclaimcampaign.com. There are lots of information there. It's not a huge site, so it won't take you a ton of time to read. It's just got a few pages. Look at the video. There's a 90-second video there. And if you like what you see, please click on the RSVP to say that you're going to attend the statewide conference on July 26th. That's number one. Number two, if you'd like to get in touch, if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to learn more, just click on the Learn More button. If you'd like to volunteer, click on the Get in Touch button. And if you do that, if you're a speaker, you can indicate that you'd like to speak. If you're an organization that wants to promote your organization by having a table at this event, you'll be able to do so. If you want to get our merchandise and wear shirts that advertise this event, you can do that as well. You can attend a town hall meeting. You can see where the town hall meetings are. So all of that is available at reclaimcampaign.com, Barry.
So let me ask you, if there's 5 people from Apopka or Miami Beach or some other area that are now contacting you, is there some way that you can say, hey, look, there's 4 other people who'd like to put a town hall meeting together. Why don't you guys, have coffee someplace and see what you can accomplish?
Exactly right. Exactly right. See, and I love the way you worded that whole statement. Um, let's get our small groups together, have coffee together, have fellowship together, have conversations together, because that is exactly how we take 5 people from Apopka, 5 people from Miami-Dade, and we turn that into 10, then we turn that into 15, then we turn that into 25, then we turn that into 45. This is how we get the job done. And the nice thing about what you just said, Barry, is this is what you do by meeting with people and having conversations. Make no mistake, we will not save our nation through Twitter, X, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube. Those are all good. That is not where we're going to save our republic. We will only save our republic by person to person conversations, building relationships so that we can share the wisdom, adopt the strategies, like the 7 strategies that I've shared that are on our website, 3 of which I just mentioned: fundraising, candidate selection, and increasing your political force, political voice. That is how those strategies can go from concept to reality. And when we start taking action along these ideas, then changes begin to happen. Talking about the problem won't get it done alone. Talking about the solution won't get it done alone. What it takes is action, action, action. And the actions to take are right on the website. If the people go there, I think they will have a way to take what they are disturbed about the way our country is being manipulated by special interests, by foreign adversaries, by local oligarchs. Take that frustration and turn it into victory, Barry.
And so if people have more questions and want to get in touch with you, if they go to reclaimcampaign.com, there's a contact us facility where they can drop you a line or get in touch with you and say, look, we'd like to do this. How do we make this happen?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, you go to reclaimcampaign.com, click the Get in Touch button. It's right there at the top, and you'll see a little bit of explanation of the program, and then you'll have an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what you're trying to make happen. Put your email address in there, and then our volunteers will be in touch with you. We would love so much to get your participation. We can't do this without you, but with you, we together will be 100% victorious.
And they need to block out January the 26th for your event in St. Pete?
Yes, please block out January 26, 2025. It's a Saturday. It's in July. It's going to be at this beautiful facility in St. Petersburg in Pinellas County. So block that out. You'll be getting more information about that. If you click on the RSVP button to say you're coming, that'll put you on a list so that you will get updates of what the details are of that event, the notebooks that will be made available to you. We already know right now that at this meeting, what you will walk away from is a working knowledge on how to grow your group, a plan that you'll take away from this meeting on how you can fundraise earlier and more effectively, a plan in writing that you will take away from this event that'll help you find the right people to run in your county. And if we have a couple of groups do this throughout the country, throughout the state, this is how we reclaim our nation.
And real quickly for the people who are listening, this is not only in the state of Florida. This is a nationwide organization, and you have people from many different states doing defend activities in their states.
Yeah, so we are obviously here in Florida, so we started it here, but already we have people coming to our event from Pennsylvania, from Arizona, even from California, because they want to get what we're doing in Florida done in their states. And for those people that are watching or listening to this podcast from out of the state, you can learn more by simply attending our free Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern call. So wherever you are in the country, if you want to take this strategy and implement it where you are, simply attend our Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern call. And the link for that is also on the website. So but take advantage of that, because this, again, is launching in Florida, but designed for the entire state, the entire country.
This is really easy. Reclaimcampaign.com. Raj Doraisamy from Defend Florida. Raj, you're doing a great work, my friend.
Barry, thank you so much for your encouragement. I so appreciate it. And most importantly, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak with your audience. And I really appreciate you taking the time, friends, to listen to this show. So as soon as we're done with this podcast, my friends, pick up your phone, go to your contacts, pick 5 people and call them. Don't text them, don't email them, but call them. And you know what I want you to ask them to do? Ask them to tune into the Barry Foster podcast. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is the information you're getting from Barry Foster's podcast is the type of information that more people need to know. I think so because you're listening to it, but more people need to know, and it's your job, if you don't mind me just saying that, it's your job to make that happen. And why did I say that? Because Jesus told us, you, me, everyone, he said, everything that you've been trained, this is Jesus speaking, he said to his disciples, everything that I've taught you, you should go out and teach others. So this is where we've lost our way. We have thought that President Trump is going to do it, our school principal, our pastor, our mayor is going to do it. No. It's our job to do it. And when we all do that, when you join with me in letting people know about the Barry Foster podcast, that's how we begin to turn this around, because they cannot drown all our voices. They can drown a few, but they cannot drown all of them. So that's why we all have to speak up. So Barry, it's just been such a pleasure speaking with you. I've so enjoyed it, and thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you, Raj. And as my sainted mother used to say, many hands makes the job light. Once again, this is really easy. Reclaimcampaign.com. Everything you need and more. Raj, I appreciate you being on with us, and you have a blessed day, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Barry. Look forward to talking with you again.
You've been listening to the Barry Foster Show from the Ridge Floor Studios in the city of Charm, beautiful Avon Park, and we'll see you next time.